friends, and welcome to another episode of Dark Side of the Word, a weekly podcast for all the dark story lovers, creatives, and artists out there. Things are a little different on this episode. You may have noticed it came out a day early to the month of November. You know, this is Halloween, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
So we decided to pump everything by one day early so that we can get all 4 of November's episodes out before Thanksgiving, and that way we can go into the end of season 2 and our break during December from Thanksgiving. So it's a really weird month that Thanksgiving's like right at the end of the month, and also
I know. I hate it when Thanksgiving's so late because it feels like the Christmas season is so short, and because I don't start celebrating it in October like some people might. I celebrate it starting the day after Thanksgiving, but I don't like having only, 3.5 weeks to celebrate with all my decor up, so.
I'm going to one-up you on the disappointment of Thanksgiving being so late this year, because it means my birthday is Thanksgiving weekend.
Is it really? Oh, that sucks. So, I'm sorry.
I had to make the hard decision of, do I see my dad for Thanksgiving or do I see my dad for my birthday? And I had to be a grown-up and make the decision, and it sucked.
See, that's why I don't see people for my birthdays. I just spend them with my husband, and that's it. And Thanksgiving, everybody's there anyway, so it's fine.
I'm doing something a little big, so I'm excited.
What are you doing?
I'm going
to
Universal.
That's right.
I'm seeing Harry Potter Lands for the first time, so I am so excited. But even though it is technically the last Thursday of October and one day before November, we are still doing our writing recap because I know that we have so much to talk about. I am stoked. I also realized I never introduced you. My co-host is my visionary. I have to use the word. My visionary co-host is CJ.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for finally introducing me.
For honoring your presence here.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not just talking to myself. She's a real person, everyone.
That's true. If anybody was listening in audio only, I'm just this random voice chiming in from the ether. That's true.
I know. Even though, like, our seasoned listeners should know.
That's true.
Did I even say what my name was? I'm Kait.
No, you did not.
We're of equal not introduction on this podcast.
Yes, we are Kait and CJ, and this is our podcast. Did you say that it's Dark Side of the Word? Dark Side of the Word. Okay.
Just in case, though, I'm glad you covered it. But yes,
just to cover all the bases.
It is the first episode of the month, which means it is time to recap everything we've been through the last 30 days. Hopefully we can inspire some chuckles and give you some advice from the trenches. And it is our last, like I said, writing recap until January.
Man, I wish I had a more exciting writing recap to close out the year. If I had realized that, maybe I would have pushed a little harder in October, but I did not.
You know what? We personally still have 2 months to kick ass.
That's true.
And we have something very important to talk about that we can both talk about and share and give insight to, which is the girls' writing retreat that we put together at the beginning of October, where we went to Sleepy Hollow and the Hudson Valley with another writing friend of ours, and we had so much fun.
It was awesome. It was an amazing experience. It was so much fun. We got work done. We got fun done. It was wonderful.
This is your sign, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an artist, you're a creator, a writer of any sort of form, you need to put together your own getaway retreat with people who are also in your realm of working as well. We highly recommend it. It wasn't just, CJ's correct. We got a ton of work done, but I think the biggest takeaway for me from the writing retreat was being around other people like me. And feeling so uplifted by these beautiful, kind souls that went with us. And I have no words. Like, at one point I was journaling, and I journaled only once on the trip. But the one time I journaled, I just kept, like, wanting to cry and being like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy right now. Oh my God, I'm so happy right now. I don't know how to, like, express my happiness.
It is really nice to spend time with like-minded individuals who know the pressures of what you're dealing with, who have the same excitement about ideas, and you can share ideas. There was a lot of discussion going on. Like when I say we got so much work done, yeah, we each worked on our personal goals, like our manuscripts or our projects, but we also just spitballed ideas off of each other and talked about ways to grow our businesses and ways to grow our creative careers. And it was just really helpful to have a sounding board right there in front of you in person, and a really safe, fun, creative space in some place that is neutral for everybody too, because we went to an Airbnb where none of us had been before, and it was a new place for all of us, and it was just a great experience. And I think, there's so many writing retreats out there. I actually was thinking of going to the Women's Fiction Writing Association Women's Retreat in Alexandria, I think it is, sometime in the fall, to get like that sense of camaraderie and connect with other writers. And I didn't, largely because of cost, because I have to pay to either fly or drive there, plus hotels, plus whatever the registration is for the writing retreat. And I'm sure many people went and it was worth it for them. But for me, I feel like I had just as fulfilling a weekend with my retreat that we put together with the two of us for probably a fraction of the cost, honestly.
Seriously, for real though. I have to say, I even think we gave our companion books her ideas for book 2 for her, which was amazing. But to expand on what CJ just said, I think that really being able to go, like, I had never met Allison before on this trip, so she was definitely a new factor into all of this. But I trusted CJ, she's CJ's friend, it was a great place. But to expand on CJ's, what she said, it was also just being able to be in a safe space with people that I knew and trusted, and not just complete strangers who, not to be mean, but I feel that going to a writing retreat like that, it's gonna feel kind of competitive in a way. But with us, like, I feel so safe with you, and we're on this journey, and we've opened up so much to each other. And then with Allison, she's a little bit on a kind of different journey, because what she works in is a little bit different than us, but also just being in such a safe space that I could talk to you guys and really open up. Because for me too, on top of everything you did, I felt that it was a huge therapy session as well. Like, we really got to discuss fears. Allison gave astrology,
which is very helpful.
Yeah, it was so fucking amazing. And just all of that, and being able to really, I opened up about some things that scared me, and just all of that.
Yeah. And I think it really helps that, so the organization of our writing retreat was, we met on a Friday night, because we were all coming in from various places, and then Saturday morning we drove up to the area where we were going to be. We spent Saturday kind of just cavorting around and exploring the area and getting to know each other in Sleepy Hollow. We saw the Headless Horseman ride past us as we were stuck in traffic on the way to the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. Guess what, everybody? Sleepy Hollow in the first weekend of October is busy as fuck, and it was insane. But we spent the first day just, gallivanting around, getting to know each other and not jumping right into the work. So we got to know each other as people before being known, as artists. And then we drove to our Airbnb the next day, and the following day we spent writing and creating. That was our mission those days. And I think we've talked about how when we do this another time, we want to try and do this each year, we'll add maybe 1 or 2 more full writing days in there, because this was kind of the test run time. But I think having that day in the beginning where we just got to talk to each other and chat and be more low-key really helped us get along better and understand each other once we got to the harder parts of writing and working on our creative stuff together.
And then we also bookended it with another fun day, which I actually totally support as well, because it was kind of a reward to all the hard work, and to also just kind of wrap it all up with a fun thing, which in that case, we went to, was it Lyndhurst House as well?
Lyndhurst Mansion in Tarrytown. Yeah.
In Tarrytown. And so it was a lot of fun, and I don't know, it was also inspiring to go to the house and to see just stuff and to think about the family and the history and just
see the library there, which was very nice.
So it was just a lot of fun, and like I said, it was just a creative cup filler, and I was also around 3 generators. So when certain comments were made, I was like, oh, I'm not alone. I am not alone. This is what a generator thinks, and that was amazing. Plus we got to take turns about the yard and get our airs for the day.
Yes, we walked around. The place we stayed had a beautiful yard, a beautiful garden, like an actual vegetable garden that we could just take food from and cook with because we did a lot of cooking on our own in the Airbnb. And I was going to say something and I completely forget what I was going to say. So back to you.
So if we had to give advice on making a writing retreat, we're not experts, but what went so superbly well for all of us on this trip is, like we said, we bookended it. I highly recommend bookending it. We also made sure we found a big enough house. I was like, when we were searching for Airbnb, I felt, and I put myself in this job of making sure that there was enough comfy couches. Okay.
I made sure there were enough toilets, one per person, because my friends, that is the key to living together with somebody, even for a weekend, in your late 30s, early 40s. You gotta have your own toilet.
You know what?
The end.
I kind of actually support that because we had 2.5 baths. So we each had like our own sink and toilet that we could use. And then I just shared a shower with someone. So that was fine because I would just like, hey, can I quickly take a shower? So it was great. But yeah, so we had plenty of writing space, so make sure you have all our writing space. The house was so big. It was 3,000 square feet. It's an old farmhouse.
Which is insane. It's like three times the size of my actual home. It was nuts. I felt like I was living in a castle for a few days.
Yeah. So we had plenty of room for all of us with lots of different areas to go. We also set up who was going to cook. And it was great because Allison doesn't like to cook, but she didn't mind doing all the dishes. And CJ and I hated doing dishes. So
that was fantastic.
It was superb. And so we did that, and then, we definitely had a place where it also had outdoor space, so we were able to, take breaks here and there and just take a little stroll around the property. And then every night we watched a movie, and I think that was also really enjoyable because we got to share stuff we loved, and while also, winding down and just having downtime and just being goofy girls and laughing and talking and just also, in a way, filling the cup up because, consuming content is partly a great way to fill up a creative cup as well. And we kept it light. Even though it was October, we kept it light. And then the last thing I would say to make special sauce on a trip is to stay in a haunted house. Because we were in a haunted house.
We were a little bit in what I think is a haunted house. So
happy haunted house.
A happy haunted house. Half of the house, it was an L-shaped house, and one half of the house was added on in the 1950s or something like that. But the other part of the house was from 1870, something like that. And it was old, and it was delightfully quirky, and had uneven floors and everything like that. And at one point, the squeaking, the beams kept creaking and cracking and expanding and contracting in the cold weather because it was really cold up there. And every 5 seconds we thought like somebody was busting in the front door. It was terrifying, but also kind of fun. But one morning I came out of my bedroom and I went to walk down the hall. And to walk down the hall to get to the main common area, I would have to go past Allison's room and then past the joint bath and then past Kait's room. And out of the corner of my eye, there was like a little sitting area across from Allison's room. And I'm just walking forward, and out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody sitting in the little sitting area to my right. And I'm just like, oh, Allison must be there working already. She's already doing that. I should have said hi to her, but I was, it's on my way to get tea because I needed my tea. And I'm like, well, I'll say hi to her on my way back. And when I got to the kitchen, Kait and Allison were both already there. So there's no way Allison could have been sitting on the couch that I passed like 0.3 seconds before that. But I saw somebody sitting there. So whoever that was very happy we were there. We had a lot of good energy coming from that ghosty person. I'm pretty sure it was a woman. And she just enjoyed hearing our friendship and our creativeness. And it was a nice time. And thankfully not spooky because it could have gone real bad. Really, really bad.
CJ delightfully kept it from us until we were well away from the house.
Yes.
I did sleep with the lights on. I couldn't help it.
I always sleep with the light on when I am not home. And even when I am home, I still sleep with the light on. Because I like light. Darkness is bad.
Well, what I didn't tell you is after further thinking, I also saw someone out of the corner of my eye. But it was in the sewing room. In the front. Where I had a moment where I also thought someone of that matched what you described sitting on the couch. And then I turned and realized Allison was...
Not there.
She was on the other side. Yeah, so
Funny how we both thought it was Allison.
Right?
Not each other.
No, it
Interesting.
was definitely like a dark, curly-haired, person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Interesting.
And we say all this, and yet we are already considering returning there.
Yes, because it was just such a wonderful space. We had so much creative juices flowing. I think one of my favorite parts was when we were all working, and we were kind of like, Kait and I were somewhat near each other. Allison was maybe in another room, but she would kind of shift around. But Kait and I had our preferred spots. And the entire house would just be quiet, except for the creaking of the beams overhead. But we were all working so intently on things. You would hear the clacking of keys, and it was just nice to be around that energy and that... I don't know, I just felt crackly in a good way. And then every now and then somebody would get up and be like, I'm making tea, who wants it? And it would just be like, whoever was making it, because the rest of us didn't have to get up and get away from our stuff. We all understand what it's like to not want to be interrupted when we're in the middle of something. So we would just like raise our hand for tea, and it would be brought to us. And then, maybe an hour or two later, it was somebody else's turn to be like, I'm going to make the tea. And it just worked out so nicely. So pick your people wisely for your writing retreat. When you go to these random things, God knows who you're going to be rooming with. Hopefully it's somebody that you like, but who the heck knows. And 3 toilets, all the toilets, each toilet for a person. That's my takeaway.
And so I just remember, you don't have to wait. You don't have to spend big money to go to the big retreats. And sometimes small and with people you trust you'll get so much more fulfillment out of it. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm dying to do this again. I need it now. And I also just miss you, CJ. You're too fucking far away.
I know, you are too far away. I don't like it. It's sad.
I'm going to start crying. We're going to change the subject now.
Okay.
Well, CJ, as per usual, because I'm going to feel weird if I don't say this, how are you doing?
Okay. I have a confession to make.
It's okay.
And it is that after our lovely time working at our writing retreat, I have not spent any time working on the revisions for Ghost Children since then.
Can I make a confession? I haven't written either.
We were so inspired. What happened? I know what happened for me. Work got in the way. It triggered a buttload of anxiety, and I had to refine my creative schedule in order to give myself a break. And that meant not working on weekends. And that is usually when I do writing my novel and revisions on my novels on weekends. But I was so burnt out from the week doing work and then blog work that I could not possibly do anything on weekends.
You still did stuff, though.
I did stuff. I did my blog, which was great. I've been doing a lot with blogging and podcasting, and it's been wonderful. But I feel slightly guilty for not working on the Ghost Children books. This thing is taking a while, much longer than I wanted to or anticipated.
I feel like I need to hold up a mirror because I need to just give you back what you've been telling me for months.
Yeah, I know.
And just talk to yourself for a minute because you said all the perfect words and I don't remember what they were. But I need you to, just remember, it's okay. And then the holidays are going to happen, so you're going to have...
God, yeah.
It's okay. I just want to remind you, you've had one of the biggest kick-ass years of your life since I've known you. And you already got published. Your blog took you further than your writing ever has.
That is very true. That is very true.
So when you said that you got work and blogging done, that's huge because your blog has been so successful. Remember, we're supposed to listen to the guidance and not force what we want. And your guidance right now is to say put whatever energy you do have into the blog. And that's what you're doing.
That is what I'm doing. So should I not do my November writing plan then that I can tell you about? Okay, I'm going to tell you about it, and you're going to tell me if I should do this or not.
Okay.
So November, as many of us know, is National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo. And if in case somebody doesn't know what that is when a bunch of people sign on to this website and they all, give each other morale boost to basically crank out 50,000 words for their first novel, the first draft of their first novel, or any novel, I guess, really. As long as it's 50,000 words. And I've never done that the way it's meant to be, but I want to do my own kind of NaNoWriMo in this November, where I work for either 1 hour or on one chapter every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday night in November. I have picked those days because those are the days where I don't have something going on those evenings. So that's why I have those. And for me, putting a time limit or a chapter limit on my working schedule will just helps it feel manageable to me, because after a hard day of work, plus doing blog work and everything else in life, limiting the novel writing to just that little time period just makes it seem not as overwhelming. So I have my days to work on it, and that's it. That's my plan. I want to do it. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it.
Well, I was gonna ask you with how you're feeling.
I'm feeling guilty. I'm feeling
feeling
guilty.
Take the guilt out. Do you have the creative will to do that? Or what if you just take it off your plate in the sense of that need to like keep to the schedule and you just do it the days you feel like you can do it. So like, hey, this is the day I plan on doing it. I think I can, like, but don't feel like I must sit and do this. Because also if we force creativity, we're not going to produce good stuff. I mean, that's like it's the worst thing ever to sit there to know. It's like, I need to get shit done. But if I force it, it's not like I'm just crunching numbers. If I also force this shit, it's going to be shit.
That's true. That's true. I'm just really excited about blog stuff now. And I want to focus on that. But then I feel like I'm being a traitor to my original reason for getting into the creative life, which was trying to become a published novelist. In any way, shape, or form, published novelist. Whether it's self, traditional, hybrid, whatever. You know?
Well, can I sidetrack us for a second?
Yes, please do.
Feel a little bit better. So I'm going to jump into my writing update for a hot minute.
Okay, good. Because CJ is having a lot of word vomit, and she's not used to that.
Because I feel like what you're saying right now is how I've been feeling. Okay, so I have recently been more into the tactile creative arts with my clothing design and running my clothing business. And I am feeling so energized and excited and really wanting to work on that facet of my creativity that I have also been extremely struggling to write. And I have also not been writing. And all my energy and all my motivation is to work on that stuff, aka comparison to CJ and her blog. And so I've had to like, plus my tarot pulls have just been very interesting and like slap me in the face like, you need to not be writing right now, you need to be doing this other thing. And so I'm also with you in one, feeling like a betrayal, but also two, feeling this massive surge of energy to work on this other project. And I'm kind of like, is this like guidance? Am I supposed to be putting my energy here? Because I'm waiting for certain bricks to be laid that we know about, or you know, certain agents to be ready, am I waiting for the market to shift just a little bit so now I'm back in vogue, things like that, because you're still doing stuff. It's not.
I am.
Okay, I'm gonna admit something that scared the shit out of me. Okay,
so you don't think you want to write anymore?
No,
never mind, me either.
CJ, what do you need to tell me? I don't want to write anymore.
Is that really it?
Kind of. But no, that wasn't what I was going to say. But now that you said it.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
This writing update has took a very interesting turn, hasn't it?
Would you like to also say something?
No, I've just been feeling so much energy going toward blogging lately and moving that and the thing is I'm seeing momentum, I'm seeing success, and I just kind of want to keep snowballing with that and seeing where it goes, which makes me reticent to work on Ghost Children, which is still being, tweaked and revised, and I haven't had success getting an agent and stuff with my other books, and I want to go toward the thing that's giving me hope, where I don't feel as much hope with the manuscript writing at this time. And it makes me be like, maybe I don't want to do this after all. But I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. I always have. It's just I've fallen a little out of love with it recently. Total eclipse of the heart.
I have two things. So remember, I have two, because my ADHD brain.
Two.
Made me forget that I have two things.
I'll hold up 2 fingers for you.
It
while
might be
you
tiring, but just remember. The first thing is that I agree with you about the falling out of love. I got really crushed when Praces didn't go anywhere. And I know, like, let's keep pushing and everything, but I know how good it is. And that was really hard for me, and I think it crushed me. There's also part of me like, can I do that magic again? And I know we always have that feeling, but there was amazing. And like a week ago I walked into Barnes and Noble, and normally I get a flutter and an excitement and this is my push, this is my need, let's do this, and I literally walked in and I felt nothing. I felt like I lost all connection to that passion that was driving me. And I've also been really struggling to read. Like, I'm not even drawn to books the way I used to be. Like, whatever that thing I had inside of me is
burnt out a little bit.
And so that was one. And then two is for you, because I don't see how my clothing line helps my books at all. But with you, if you become this name and this person, this podcast goes somewhere, your interviews, your cookbook, other things that you can publish, get a part of, you build such a name for yourself that now you have a following that all of a sudden deserted is this thing that's gonna like explode because it's 100% fits like your audience and your thing. And so you, in a way, even though you're not putting words to paper, like think about Inspired to Write. Like, yeah, she self-published her books, but what she focuses on, even what she got traditionally published with, is nothing to do with her creative writing. It has all to do with her journey and her nonfiction and her help guides, and then she is getting traditionally published with a nonfiction book.
Yeah.
And she built this entire thing that allows her self-published fiction books to be such a big thing because she built this audience in the last 10 years as she's built, like, she rarely ever talks about her fiction books on Instagram because she's made it big in a different area, but it's helped. So every time you think that you're not doing something for your future, you are.
That's true. And I do want a creative career with multiple revenue streams because, one, that's how you can make enough money to support yourself and then hopefully have a nice retirement fund for later on. And two, it just keeps it busy. It keeps it exciting. You know, if you're always just working on one thing all the time, you get burnt out pretty quickly, especially if you're not seeing any movement in that area. So I like the idea of having different aspects of the creative life that I can dip into and focus on at different times. I guess just since writing's always been, like, writing novels has always been my first love, it feels like a little bit of a betrayal to put that aside for the blog, which is still writing, just a different type, you know.
I mean, this is a great time to look into any ways that you can expand your blog to be, you know, putting together PDFs that you can sell, group stuff, anything that can expand that income driving in as well, because you do have such a great following and you're really spreading your name out recently. So just a note to self and all of that if you're feeling inspired. I get everything you're saying. Like, literally, can we be twins right now?
I know.
Because, like, with you, I agree. Like, I've worked on my writing for 8 years. I've given so much of my blood, sweat, and life and tears into trying to do this. I almost felt like when I was talking to my partner about everything and kind of admitting my feelings, I felt that I was letting him down because he has sacrificed so much for me to try this and for us to do this. And, like, but it's not there. Like, there is nothing in me to make me want to go look at words right now. Like, nothing.
Yeah, that's true. I'm having a good time reading books by other people. I've actually had a bunch of great reads. And they've kind of inspired me to work, because they've all been horror reads, so they've kind of inspired me to work on Ghost Children. But then when it comes to actually sitting down, and maybe it's because I said to myself a while ago, in November, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start working on it. So just in my head, I've been kind of putting in that little box, and I don't have to worry about it until whatever day November starts.
Technically tomorrow. When this comes out.
Oh, then that gives me little palpitations inside.
Like, I think good about palpitations?
No, okay. like bad palpitations. Like, oh my God, I'm not ready. I don't want to. I don't know.
Has it manifesting taught us to listen to our hearts?
What'd you say?
Has it manifesting taught us to listen to our intuition and our hearts and where the energy is pushing us?
Yes, that is true. I don't deal with crises of faith very well, and...
Dude, I have been fucking defined by books my entire life. Like, I'm not talking writing, I'm talking books my entire fucking life, right? I'm the girl with the book, always carrying the book all the time, and I walked into Barnes and felt nothing. I about panicked.
Yeah.
Fucking panicked. I'm like, who am I then? If I'm not books...
Who am I?
Who the fuck am I? God, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, maybe it's all just happening because it's the end of the year and we're tired and it's been such a busy, exciting year. And, you know, as the things tell us about the fall, it's the time to wind down, not gear up. Maybe in a couple of months I'll feel completely differently and be raring to go. Who knows? But
I still think this is hilarious that we are literally feeling the same thing. I was really scared to tell you on my writing update that, like, well,
there's no writing update.
My physical art, and I'm making clothes, and no words to hit the paper.
Yeah, pretty much minus the clothes. You know, it's I haven't touched my manuscript since our retreat. I haven't. And the retreat, I was so fired up. I was making revisions. I had great ideas. I jotted them all down. I was raring to go. And then it all just did that. And I've been okay with it and preoccupied with other things.
I've just like, I have this super need to also just like nest for the next 3 months. Our life has finally slowing down just a little bit, but then like January 15th gonna come and my life's gonna be fucking hell again in a good way. But
What
like
is January 15th?
well, like mid-January, because I gotta go to Atlanta in mid-January-ish time frame, end of January, and then we've got the emo cruise, and then
Gotcha.
I have to go to Orlando. It just kicks off of like a bunch of shit I gotta do. But like, so like for the next 3 months, I'm like all in this like squirrel phase of like I want to nest and I want to like work on my house and like get everything witchy going, growing my plants again, clean up the chairs I bought, do all the things and like very tactile. Like everything I want to do is tactile. I don't want to be in this like imagination. I want here and now.
Yeah. So I guess, listeners, what you can take away from this rambling / complete sidetrack from the writing is that it's okay to question your path and go to a different one and maybe take a break.
Well, this is why we're a creative podcast.
That's true. That is why this is a
creative
update. It's a creative update and not so much, especially this one is the creative update and not so much a writing update because there has not been so much writing, but that's okay.
Well, I have to say, even though we're saying all of this, I don't feel any ounce of anguish and depression and sadness coming at the final update for the year for us. And doing all this as we come into like our wind down vacation, off season, as we like to call it on here. Because I just know so many other years where we've hit this mark and we're just like, next year? And neither one of us are doing that. I honestly see just fatigue in our faces because it's been so much.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to jump now when we do January and we come back in January. To see how that update's going to go and what we're going to have to say for ourselves.
That is true. A whole lot can happen in 2 months. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Well, in all that, I feel that I kind of gave my update too, which is writing has been happening, but the clothing is getting very excited. I have a couple of projects I'm working on. I'm making my first own design next month, making my own pattern and design, and hopefully we'll get that done. I have so many creative ideas just flowing through me. I've been working on my embroidery, just so much stuff. I'm so excited. Yeah, it's just been a lot of fun, like the physical tactile arts. That and the one writing thing that I have really been drawn to is actually nonfiction. Allison said something that kind of just rung into my head, and I've had this idea for a nonfiction book in my head for a very long time. And it's been something I really want to write with my partner. Like we would co-write it. But I think that we have a very unique but very like common path of our life, from like being staunch religious backgrounds to being going atheistic to then becoming Buddhist. And I feel that witchy Buddhist people, and I feel that a lot of people go through that, but it's also extremely unique too. And I kind of want to, no one really talks about it in anything, and so I kind of want to like write like something about what we've been through and compare it and just all of that. So that's something I've also had the energy to work on. Watch me get published for nonfiction.
There you go. It's supposed to happen the way we least expect it. So there you go.
Allison said it to you, but I think it was meant for me.
I think it'd be anybody. It's a surprise for me.
Yes, so also I am so excited. CJ and I are also going to have a business meeting to finalize some stuff, but next season's podcast is shaping up to be so exciting. We already have some interviews in the work. I know, we're going to be interviewing people.
Interviewing authors, not just authors, people who have written real books.
I know, not us.
Not us.
Real people.
The ones who don't want to work on their books. These are people who have worked on them and finished them and gotten them published.
So I'm super excited. We're also going to mix up things a little bit, but we're going to finalize that. But next season is shaping out to be so exciting. Season 3, here we come. But don't worry, you still got 3 more episodes here before the end of the year wraps up for us. So don't worry, we're not done just yet. But I wanted to get you guys excited that, we're moving and shaking over here. Even though we're not writing, we're still doing a lot of shit in the background.
Stuff. That's why we're not writing, because there's a lot of shit going on in the background.
And don't forget, we still have 1 book club left for the year. We are reading
Leave It in the Dark?
Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling. Sorry, Starling?
Like the bird?
Yes. I don't know why I saw an extra T in there, so I thought it was like Startling. No, Starling. And if you still need to get your book, because there's still time, make sure you use our bookshop links below. We get a small kickback for your purchase at no extra cost to you, which helps us to keep putting on this great content for all you guys. But you good, CJ?
Good.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast, Dark Side of the Word, a weekly podcast for all the dark story lovers, creatives, and artists out there. If you are watching this as a video, please give the video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. We're also audio only on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeart Radio. Make sure to leave a comment, check out the poll on Spotify, yada, yada, yada. And we hope that you have an amazing, beautiful, creative journey. Thank you so much, friends. Bye.
Bye.